Hello, my name is Swasey, and I'd like to share my project that I did for Lab 4. So this is my poster. My project was inspired by, I'm a senior this year, so I graduate in the spring, and over my time being a student, I've learned more and more about some of the resources that USU has that a lot of people don't use, and it took a while for me to find out. And I figured what better way to pay it forward than to help raise awareness for these resources, not just because we're students and we're already paying for them, we're not using them, but everyone there wants to provide these services to help students and to provide benefits. So I started out kind of probably too large of a scope. I have an enormous list of countless different things, which is like 30 plus different resources. And my idea was to get it published so that probably through connections it could be shared with new students that came into USU, so that they could use all these resources. Turned out to be a little bit more, even though that seems like a simple project, simple idea at first, it turned out to be a little bit more. And like it says on the poster, there's plenty of issues that changed quite a bit. So initially, I just started thinking like having this big of a list, there's just too much, just kind of drowns out what's really important, and it's just a little complicated, there's too many things going on, I didn't think people would actually use it. So I decided my first step would to whittle it down and to focus it. So my first focus, the pivot that I decided to try and do, is focus only on textbooks, because there's a lot of resources that you can actually get, ebooks or textbooks, either for free to use or to rent out temporarily, again for free, physical copies or ebooks. So I pivoted trying to just get this resource, and trying to do things campus wide again was really hard. It was hard to find like a good way to get that published somewhere that it could be easily shared. So I decided to pivot again and focus on a smaller group, and I just decided to focus only on students in the Huntsman School of Business. And eventually, hopefully, if it worked out, I could find some way to expand from there. But then I was thinking I have to reach out to a lot of students and find a way to connect with a ton of individual students. What if I could get this done to just teachers and have teachers pick textbooks from these resources and have that be the way that the textbooks were done, and then in their classes announce, hey, our textbook is free if you go to this website or if you go through the library. And so that is what I pivoted to do. I was trying to set up a time to work with some people in faculty that have the ability to kind of call like a meeting to get teachers educated about this. When I learned that one of the big resources that I've used a lot that has tended to have a few more textbooks that I've used in my time, because I've been able to go, and basically 4 out of my 8 semesters I've been able to not even have to buy any books, because it's either been listed on the library somewhere or on another one of these textbook sites. That, or I've been able to go to the course reserves in the library and rent it out and just read that way, and request that a professor put a textbook on course reserves. So, but one of that big name like ebook resource, turns out that it was kind of a freemium model that was being given out. They're like, give it access to the library, you can use this, your students can use it, and it can all be free on the condition that teachers do not pick required textbooks from this database. So my idea of having teachers pick their base required textbook for the class from this database would be in violation of that agreement. So that kind of killed that plan, threw me for a loop again. So at this time, the semester started getting close to the end, and I started running out of time, so I tried to think, how can I get this, at least something delivered before the semester ends? So I decided to pivot and just focus only on Huntsman scholars. Hopefully, all of these things can be shared with their friends, and that they'll be able to use their networks to spread this, and I'm sure that they would be willing to share with their friends as well. So along this process, there's plenty of things that went wrong, but it was good. It was good to learn. I thought this was a really simple project that I could do and have just an easy time. It wouldn't be too difficult. I could wrap it up really quick, just take the list that I already had and do it. But you can see on kind of my list of things that really taught me, like, start simple. There's it's really easy to bite off more than you can chew. And once you have something set and tangible, then start trying to grow it. So those are two big lessons for me. Again, like at first, I probably took a little longer than I needed to because I was too afraid to change from my original plan. I was like, no, it's too small. It's not going to be what I wanted. Won't help as many people. But eventually I realized, it's better to help a smaller group than to help nobody at all by not getting this out there. So that was a good lesson, and I think one that I'll remember moving forward. Another important one is know either, in this case, like the rules and use cases, but probably on a broader scale, laws and regulations that can make or break your idea. If there's a law that prevents you from doing business in the way that you want to, or a law that you rely on to have your business thrive, like it gives you that niche, you need to know those risks and be conscious of how things can change. Because things will go wrong, and that's a big thing that I learned, because almost every pivot I did, it had some kind of difficulty. But again, I learned you need to not be too serious and have fun with this. So that being said, because I wasn't able to get everything up yet, I'm hoping that I can get it either at the beginning of next semester. Here are the resources, and I just want to walk through them really quick. Library, this is just a library site, and you can go, and sometimes you just search and they have one of the textbooks there in the library on record that you can check out. I've been able to do this, and it's worked really well. The second link is for the course reserves. That's where professors can keep a copy of a textbook in the library for reserves for students specifically to have a resource that isn't too expensive and that you can use. And if it's not there, you can actually email your professors and ask that they provide a textbook or put something on course reserves. That way it can be accessed by students. So now when we're registering for classes, if you got your classes set down, you can look for the books that they're asking for you to get. If they don't have it on reserves, you can just send them an email and say, hey, I wonder if you put it on reserves. That's another way that you can get textbooks without having to pay for them. This last link is an online database that you can access through the library, the O'Reilly, and there are a lot of books. Again, it's not all books, but it does have quite a few. And if you go to this link and you click on the go to database button and then log in with your student email, they have a wide variety of ebooks that you can search and maybe find your book that way. Again, I've honestly been able to find a lot of my textbooks just through the library, searching the library catalog. And if you don't know how to do that, go meet with a librarian, because there's plenty more of other free resources that you can get through the library. So hopefully that's been a help, and hopefully you'll be able to use these resources. And again, I'm telling you, the librarians are great folks, and there's plenty more than just free textbooks that you can get. They can give you hints on other free resources you can use, like getting Microsoft Office for free, other software, other services, access to journals, publications, even certain other groups like that require a paywall. You have to have a subscription to read some of their news content. You can get those for free as well through the library being a student. And these are all things that your tuition is paying for, so why not take advantage of it? So thanks for paying attention to my presentation, and again, I hope these resources help you, and if you have any other questions, feel free to try and get in contact with me, and I'd be more than happy to share some more of the resources that I've been able to discover while I'm here. Thanks again.